Sherpa guide looked up after a sudden rockfall and found a massive, broad-shouldered figure staring down at him from the top of a cliff. Sir Edmund Hillary dismissed the encounter as a bear. The Sherpa never changed his story. For more than 2 centuries, explorers, climbers, and local villagers have reported encounters with a mysterious creature said to roam the highest mountains on Earth. Western expeditions have spent decades searching for evidence of what many call the abominable snowman. Most returned home empty-handed. Yet among the Sherpa people of Nepal, stories of the creature are not treated as campfire legends. They are passed down through generations as warnings. Many who spend their lives in the Himalayas believe something unknown still walks those mountains. Today, we examine several of the most well-known Yeti encounters, along with modern reports submitted by individuals claiming to have experienced something they cannot explain. The Wardens have not independently verified every account presented in this report. Historical incidents are presented as they have been documented, while modern reports are being shared exactly as they were described by the individuals who submitted them. This is Warden Field Encounter Report, the Yeti, known by many names, including the Yeti, Métis, and the abominable snowman. The creature has been reported throughout Nepal, Tibet, Bhutan, and northern India for centuries. Descriptions remain surprisingly consistent. Witnesses often describe an enormous, broad-shouldered creature covered in dark or reddish-brown hair. Most estimate its height between 7 and 10 feet. Despite its size, it is said to move effortlessly across steep mountains, where experienced climbers struggle simply to survive. Many reports also describe something stranger. Long before the creature is ever seen, witnesses often report the overwhelming feeling that something is watching them. Whether these stories describe an undiscovered species or something entirely different remains unknown. Case File 1. The Silver Hut Expedition, 1960. In 1960, Sir Edmund Hillary, already famous for becoming one of the first men to reach the summit of Mount Everest, joined the Himalayan scientific and mountaineering expedition, better known as the Silver Hut Expedition. The expedition's purpose was not to search for the Yeti. Instead, it focused on studying how the human body functioned at extreme altitudes. While traveling through Nepal's Roll Wailing Valley, Sherpa guide Mingma Sherpa led a small team investigating a series of fresh tracks discovered near a frozen stream. As they carefully followed the trail along a rocky cliff, a sudden rockfall echoed overhead. Mingma instinctively looked up. Perched atop a massive boulder was a broad-shouldered, hair-covered figure crouching silently above them. According to Mingma, the creature stared directly at the group for several moments before suddenly leaping away across the rocks and disappearing into the mountains. Sir Edmund Hillary later dismissed the account, believing the witness had likely mistaken a bear for something more mysterious. Mingma quietly maintained that what he saw was unlike any bear he had ever encountered. Case File 2. Don Willens, 1970. 10 years later, another respected British mountaineer reported an experience that remains one of the most discussed Yeti encounters in mountaineering history. In March of 1970, Don Willens was helping establish a route up Annapurna. One evening, as camp was being prepared, a Sherpa calmly broke the silence. "Yeti coming, Saab." Willens turned just in time to see a large shadow disappear behind a nearby ridge. The following morning, The team discovered unusual tracks crossing the snow in roughly the same location. Some dismissed them as bear tracks. Willens wasn't convinced. The next night, he found himself unable to sleep. He later described an overwhelming feeling that something was watching the camp from the darkness. Then, in the moonlight, he saw movement. A large ape-like creature emerged from the shadows before bounding across the mountainside on all fours with incredible speed. It crossed nearly a quarter mile before disappearing into rocky cliffs. The next morning, fresh tracks were again discovered. According to Willens, the Sherpas with him refused to discuss what they had seen. Case File 3, the Machermo Incident, 1974. One of Nepal's most famous Yeti reports occurred in 1974, near the village of Machermo. A young Sherpa woman named Lakpa Doma was tending several yaks in a high mountain meadow. Without warning, a massive hairy creature reportedly emerged from the hillside. According to her account, it knocked her to the ground before charging through the herd. Terrified, she ran back to the village and alerted local authorities. When villagers and police inspected the scene, several yaks were reportedly found dead. One animal was said to have had its neck violently twisted. Officials suggested the deaths had likely resulted from a fight between the animals. Lakpa strongly disagreed. Years later, British writer Bruce Chatwin interviewed her personally. She remained unwavering in her testimony. It was no bear. She described an enormous, man-like creature covered in thick hair. Today, the Machermo incident remains one of the most well-known Yeti encounters ever reported. Warden Field Report 1. The following account was submitted online by an individual claiming to be a Sherpa living near Lukla, Nepal. The Wardens have not independently verified this testimony. According to the witness, nearly every family in the region has heard stories about the Yeti. The witness claimed villagers believe that hearing what sounds like a group of people shouting in the mountains is sometimes associated with the creature's approach. He also stated that older generations believed encountering a Yeti often brought sickness or terrible misfortune. Whether these beliefs are rooted in folklore or generations of genuine encounters remains impossible to determine. Warden Field Report 2. Another account appeared online from an individual claiming to have served with the military in Afghanistan. According to the witness, personnel monitoring drone footage observed what initially appeared to be a man sitting near the base of a mountain. As the drone approached, operators reportedly noticed massive shoulders, unusually long arms, and body proportions unlike an ordinary human. Some believed they were looking at a large ape. Others argued it was simply an unusual camera angle. The witness claimed the object was eventually targeted during a military operation. No official footage or documentation has ever surfaced to support the story. The Wardens have not independently verified this report. Warden Field Report 3. A final report comes from an anonymous individual recalling an experience from childhood. According to the witness, he was climbing a tree when he suddenly heard a deep growl. Looking up, he found himself face to face with a massive fur-covered creature. He described red eyes, enormous strength, and claimed that while trying to escape, he accidentally pulled a tuft of fur from the creature before fleeing. No physical evidence was ever recovered. Like many anonymous online reports, this account remains impossible to verify. Conclusion. For centuries, people from different cultures, different countries, and different generations have described remarkably similar creatures living among the highest mountains on Earth. Some witnesses were experienced climbers. Some spent their entire lives in the Himalayas. Others are simply anonymous individuals sharing experiences they claim changed their lives forever. Whether these witnesses encountered an undiscovered species, mistook known animals under extraordinary conditions, or witnessed something science has yet to explain, remains unanswered until stronger evidence is found. The Yeti remains one of the world's greatest unexplained mysteries. End of Warden Field Encounter Report.